Welcome to Howard's Opinion, the podcast, where we dive into the world of sports and give you our take on the latest news and trends. As we head into the final weekend of March Madness, there's been a lot of talk about the state of college basketball. Some say it's lost its magic, that the transfer portal and player compensation have changed the game for the worse. But I'm here to tell you that's just not true. The sport is still full of incredible stories, talented players, and coaches who are dedicated to their craft. Take the story of Caden Boozer, an 18-year-old player who had his world crash down around him in a heartbreaking loss. Yet, he handled the situation with grace and responsibility, showing a level of maturity that's rare in anyone, let alone someone so young. Or how about Cameron Boozer, who hugged his teammate Nick Kamania and said, "I love you," after a tough game? These are the moments that remind us what sports are really all about: the relationships, the camaraderie, and the human connections. And then there's the basketball itself. The game is more widespread than ever, with talented players from all over the world coming to compete in the NCAA tournament. We've seen incredible comebacks, buzzer-beating shots, and dominating performances that have left us all in awe. Of course, not everyone is happy with the current state of college basketball. Some lament the loss of the good old days, when players stayed at one school for 4 years and the game was supposedly more pure. But the first say, why can't we appreciate the game for what it is today? The players are still talented, still dedicated, and still giving it their all on the court. As Houston coach Kelvin Sampson said, "People will forget who won games or what your records were. That will be forgotten." But being able to coach kids like Milos and Emmanuel and be able to stay a part of their lives, 5-10 years from now, of course, they got a lot longer than I do, but however long that is, you just hope that you get to see them. That's what it's all about, the relationships, the growth, and the love of the game. So let's celebrate the sport for what it is today. Let's enjoy the incredible basketball, the inspiring stories, and the talented players who are giving it their all on the court. We'll be right back with more fascinating sports news on Howard's Opinion. Welcome back to Howard's Opinion, folks. We're diving into the world of sports now, and I've got a story that's sure to excite all you football fans out there. The NFL has announced that Las Vegas will be hosting Super Bowl the 63rd in 2029, marking the second time in just 6 years that the city will play host to the big game. Allegiant Stadium, home of the Las Vegas Raiders, will once again be the venue for this premier event. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't it a bit unusual for a city to be hosting multiple Super Bowls in such a short span? And you're right, it is a relatively recent trend. But let me tell you, Las Vegas has proven itself to be a top-notch host city, and the NFL is clearly taking notice. The stadium has already hosted a slew of high-profile events, including WrestleMania and the College Football Playoff National Championship, and it's set to host even more in the coming years. The NFL Commissioner, Roger Goodell, had some glowing words about Las Vegas, saying that the city brings scale, energy, and hospitality to global events. And Raiders owner Mark Davis echoed those sentiments, saying that the team is committed to raising the bar even further for Super Bowl, the 63rd. It's worth noting that this will be the 6th time in 8 years that a Super Bowl will be played in California, Arizona, or Nevada. And with Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz Stadium hosting Super Bowl the 62nd in 2028, it's clear that the NFL is favoring cities with state-of-the-art stadiums and a proven track record of hosting big events. So, what does this mean for football fans? Well, for starters, it means that you can expect another exciting Super Bowl experience in Las Vegas in 2029. And who knows, maybe we'll even see some new and innovative elements added to the event. One thing's for sure, though, with the NFL's commitment to hosting top-notch events, football fans are in for a treat. Welcome back to Howard's Opinion. As we wrap up today's show, I want to dive into the latest news from the NFL, specifically the quarterback situation with the Minnesota Vikings. It seems like Kyler Murray is the clear frontrunner to be the Week 1 starter, and honestly, it's hard to argue with that assessment. The way Coach O'Connell spoke about Murray's abilities and potential, it's evident that he's the favorite to lead the team. But what caught my attention was the glowing praise for Carson Wentz, who recently re-signed with the Vikings on a one-year deal. O'Connell highlighted Wentz's impressive performance last season, despite limited practice time and no training camp reps. It raises an interesting question. Could Wentz potentially challenge Murray for the starting job? While it seems unlikely, O'Connell's comments suggest that Wentz is more than just a backup quarterback. He's a viable option who can contribute to the team's success. Meanwhile, J.J. McCarthy's future with the team looks uncertain. After being the presumed starter last season, his injury and subsequent struggles have put him in a tough spot. It's possible that we might see Wentz as the primary backup to Murray, with McCarthy slipping down to third string. Of course, this is all speculation at this point, and the actual playing time will depend on how these quarterbacks perform during training camp. As it stands, though, Kyler Murray appears to have a firm grip on the starting job. Coach O'Connell's words only reinforce that notion, and it'll be interesting to see how this quarterback competition plays out in the coming weeks. That's all for today's Howard's Opinion. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, keep your head in the game.